Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond BMR. Of course, I am your host, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Joining me in Studio B from Missouri, the lovely KRISTA from the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. Please subscribe to the Blondes and Booze if not already. Thanks for everybody for coming on and have a great show tonight. Santariga, good friend of mine, Bronxville Paranormal Society, the Squatch father, if you will. We're going to talk a little Sasquatch and a little paranormal. Sent me a couple pictures in that I think I got downloaded. You know, we all had that Facebook, that Instagram outage today. Crazy day. So I gotta make sure all that's loaded up. If not, it's gonna be a fantastic show anyways. Thank you to Al in advance for coming on. Beyond BMR goes beyond the mysteries of the world. We take you on a deep dive surrounding all these strange phenomena we have going on in the world. From Bigfoot to Dogman, UFOs to aliens, time travel, and to the paranormal. How do they all come full circle? Do they come full circle? Find out on this show. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube, the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast on YouTube, and Texas Front Porch on YouTube. And we'll get to Al's information a little bit later on in the show here. If this is your first time here and you like our content, the super chat's open. The super chat is a great way to help support what we do around here. Thank you for that. Also, if you want to become a BMR pirate, join today. You get a little picture of me with my bandana on. How's that go? How's that for a little gift for you? If you join, thank you. Please subscribe, share us out, give us a thumbs up, and like us. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Spreaker Radio, KPNL Radio, and wherever podcasts are found. Thanks to everybody for coming in. And with that, before we get started, I want to thank everybody who's bought my book. That's right. Bigfoot Michigan represents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1. You can find that on Amazon. The link is pinned up in the chat. The link is also on my YouTube page. If you've bought it already, when Amazon comes calling, please leave a review. It does help promote sales. I appreciate that, and thank you in advance. Also, June 7th and 8th, Alabama Bigfoot Conference at the Anniston Performing Arts Center. Come check us out. It's at BamaBigfootConference.com. The speaker lineup is as follows. Tex Weston is the master of ceremonies. We got Barton Nunnally, Daryl Denton, the Blondes and the Booze, Jason McLean, Greg Ogles, Martin Groves, and, of course, BMR. Tickets $30 online, $35 at the door. Thank you. Hope to see you all there. June 7th is our meet and greet. You know what? That's already booked at some restaurant down there in Alabama. However, if you show up, we won't turn you away. That's right. The restaurant won't turn you away as well. So come on down, have a good time, spend some time with us. So I do appreciate that. With that being said, we'll get the show on the roll and bring up KRISTA, the lovely KRISTA backstage there. Hey, kiddo.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just saying hi to people in the chat.
Well, thank you for that. And I want to thank everybody for coming on. And if I don't say hello to you, not being rude, but love you all. Thanks for coming on in. Again, super chats are open. Join, become a pirate, whatever. I appreciate it. Come down to the conference. And we got a great show, KRISTA.
Great show. Looking forward to it. I like Al. He's a good guy.
I like Al. Al's been on this show maybe 3 times, on the daytime show, the nighttime show. He's known as, in a lot of circles, he's been on the Blondes. He's been on Texas Front Porch. He's been on a plethora, as Dave Scott would say, of podcasts, because Al knows what's going on. He's got a lot of great information. He's had a lot of experiences. He's a great guest. I'm proud to call him my friend. And with that being said, from the Bronxville Paranormal Society, Al Santariga.
Thank you, Rob. Hey, KRISTA, how you doing? Thank you very much for having me. It's my honor to be here. KRISTA, I met a woman just the other day who is your double.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna get a screenshot or send it to you, because I'm telling you, you guys could be twins. Absolutely.
That's scary.
just freaked me out when I seen her. Someone was introducing me to her, and I'm like, no, that's not her. That's KRISTA, you know? And they're like, no, this is so-and-so. And I'm like, no, you're wrong. And it just freaked me out. But
Send me a picture.
you guys could be doubles. Absolutely twins.
I don't think the world could handle two of me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, two KRISTAs. Ooh, that'd be a tough task.
Yeah.
But it'd be a good task. So KRISTA's okay in my book, though.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's golden in my book. Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thanks for Mike A. Thanks for coming on in. So yeah, I know you got maybe a little over an hour today. I get it, and you got to get up early in the morning. I do want to thank you for taking your time out though, and coming on the show, because I always look forward to talking to you, because you always have. You've got great experiences, a lot of knowledge in the field, and you're one of the guys that if I need something, I'll give you a call. And is this real? Is this not? Whatever. And so I do appreciate what you provide to the entire community.
Well, look, I speak my mind. You know what I mean? So I try to stick with stuff that I know is all fact. I don't like to talk theory and conjecture. You know what I mean? That's why when I do these shows, I like to just talk about my investigations, my experiences, what we experienced when we were out there, what we seen, what we captured. And this way, there's no theory involved. You know what I mean? There's no conjecture. It's not my opinion. I mean, I always go out with people who are on my team and people who aren't on my team. So if, I need people to validate my experiences, people that aren't on my team have nothing to gain by validating it, So, but we went out. I planned 2 investigations this October, because October the 13th was Friday the 13th. There was going to be a solar eclipse and 1% of the moon. Okay. And 3 weeks later, on the 28th, there was going to be a lunar eclipse with a full moon. So I wanted to get out to this location. It's a location. It's a place of high strangeness. There are definitely portals in this location. Government used to mine uranium out of the mountain there. There are ley lines running through the mountain. There are underwater aquifers. There are quartz crystal veins that run through the rocks. So everything is just, the energy is just off the charts. And most of the time when I go there and I call my psychic up from the location, I have to move like 200-300 yards away, because she can't talk because of the energy. It sounds like she's got cerebral palsy. So, so this night, I planned this night, and she calls me up. She always calls me up before I tell her anything. And she's like, okay, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. What do you got planned? Where you going? And I told her where I was going, and she said, okay. And I told her who I was taking with me. And I was going out with my cousin, who's 20 years old. First time ever going out doing a paranormal / cryptid investigation. And I wanted to make sure he was able to handle what was going to happen that night, because I knew it was going to be a crazy night, And she read him, and she said, he's fine. As a matter of fact, he's got abilities, and he should be okay. And there were supposed to be a couple of other people coming with us. But as we came closer and closer to the time to go, everybody bailed on me. Okay, no big deal. So my cousin and I go out there, and if you have any questions, just stop me at any point. My cousin and I go out to the location, and we hike up 4 miles to the location to get there. And we get there, and I always like to do day night. I like to see the difference in the energy during the day compared to the night. And I always like to go old school, new school. I got all the ITC stuff. I got the old school stuff, the dowsing rods, the quartz crystal pendulums, the compasses, the military grade compasses, And we get out there and we call my psychic. Now, my cousin doesn't know my psychic from a hole in the wall. And when you hear this woman talk for the first time and she tells you what she's seeing, you think she's crazy. She's just, the stuff she says is off the charts. And people, so she's reading my cousin, and she says, you're Native American. You have Native American blood in you. And he goes, yes. On my mother's side, we have Native American blood in us, you know? And I said, okay. And so she says to me, she says, Al, you got Native American blood in you too. And I start laughing. Now, I've been with my psychic for over a dozen years, and we argue, we debate over a lot of stuff, okay? And she says, you have Native American blood in you too. I go, absolutely not. I'm 100% Italian, father's Roman, my mother's from the north, no Native American blood. And this argument goes on for about 10 minutes, right? She says, yes, I see you. Then she says something that lights like a little light bulb over my head. She says, I see Native American blood and your blood intermingling. You know, she goes like this, and the light bulb goes off. When I was 18 years old, I'm 61 now. It was a long time ago, right?
Wow.
She says, I says, oh my God, one of my best friends was Apache. And we did the blood brother thing. We cut our hands open and we did the blood brother thing.
Okay.
And that's what she was seeing. She was seeing that
Very
blood
cool.
into me. And my cousin almost fell off his chair. He's like, oh my God, how does she know that? You know, I was like, man, I forgot all about it. It was so many years ago. You know, I really just totally forgot all about it. And so that's what she was seeing as far as the Native American blood goes. So I said, okay, you know, what are you feeling? What are you seeing? And she says, okay. She says, you guys have to be careful tonight. The veil is very, very thin, and things are going to come through. She says the portal is open. Things are going to come through. She says, but if you stay inside the sacred site, and the sacred site, to give you an idea of what it looks like, it's a high plateau with megalithic stones set up in a circle with hundreds of smaller stones on top. And this is maybe a 50-yard circumference circle, okay? And I just found it by chance. And I'm up there with my cousin, and I'm showing him the bends, the breaks, the arches, the X. And I'm saying, you know, this is all Sasquatch, you know, sign that they were here and this and that. And she says, okay. She says, the site is bound. She says, I feel like the site has been bound. And I said, yeah, I had a premonition to come here before the investigation and bound the site. I cleansed it, and then I bound it. And I don't know, I just had a dream that told me to go and do this before I go out. So I did it. And as a matter of fact, as I was doing it, I was getting hit with infrasound. Something was trying to stop me from doing it. I was on the phone with Chris Reinhardt from Discover Sasquatch. And I was like, dude, I'm being hit with infrasound. I'm nauseous. I'm sweating profusely. My knees are weak. I had to go hide behind a giant oak tree until it passed. And then I was able to cleanse and bound. And so she said, the location is bound. So long as you stay inside the sacred site, you're okay. Nothing can hurt you. She says, there are going to be entities that are going to come in. She said,
Did you say, excuse me, you said inside the sacred site, stay inside of it?
Yes, stay inside.
So what do they do? They cast a spell? What do they do to keep you safe? Was that?
I went there. I had a premonition that I needed to go there before these two investigations. And I was told in my dream to cleanse it and then seal it. So that's what I did. I went and I cleansed and then I sealed. And so she said, there are going to be entities that are going to be able to come into the site and touch you. She said, not so much harm you, but they can push you or trip you. So be careful. But she said, there's one entity that's very, very dangerous. And you have to be very careful of this entity. So I was like, okay, what is it? And she called it a bear squatch. She said it's like 10 foot tall. It looks like a Sasquatch, but it's got a bear's head and it's got like bear claws. And she said, stay away from this thing. It's very, very dangerous. Now, my cousin's hearing this for the first time, and it's his first time out. And, you know, when you go into the woods, especially deep in the woods, it's dark. And this particular night, there was going to be 1% of the moon. It was going to be very, very dark, you know? So he's listening to this. And I said, okay, no problem. We'll stay inside the sacred site. So then she says, what she's seeing is showing themselves to her as elves. She says, but they're not elves, she said. I'm not feeling elf energy, she said. These things are more like tricksters. And she said, picture like an evil elf, a little evil elf. She called them little tiny evil elves, but tricksters. She said, they're not really elves. And she said, so she goes, and they're going to do stuff tonight. You're going to have all kinds of experiences. Okay, I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. So she says, oh, call me as the night proceeds. Let me know what's going on. I said, okay. So we're sitting there, my cousin and I, and we're discussing everything she just told us. And he's like freaking out because, he never heard anything like this before, and she's spot on with everything she says. And he's telling me, he's like, man, these woods are like devoid of life. We got a 52-acre lake behind us. There's no ducks. There's no geese. There's no squirrels. There's no chipmunks. There's no nothing. And he goes, I've never been in the woods that, so deep in the woods that's been so devoid of life. And I said, let's just see what happens tonight. And we're sitting there, and this is funny. We hear a train go by. Okay. Sounds like a freight train going by. Now, there are tracks 4 miles away, okay? And I go on to explain to my cousin that there's a location off of these tracks that I want to investigate. But the only way I can get to it is via the tracks. So I went to the state police headquarters and gave him this big bullshit story that I just moved up to the location. And my kids ride the bus, and I'm not happy about the bus going over the train tracks. There's no arms there to stop traffic if the train goes by, yada, yada, yada. And I'm going on and on and on. And the cop is laughing at me, and he says, relax. He says, there hasn't been a train on that track in 50 years. So I was like, wow. So I said, okay, so now I know I can go down these tracks to that other location. But we're sitting at the sacred site. We hear a freight train go by. And I'm explaining this to my cousin. He's like, well, if the trains don't run on the track, then what the hell did we just hear? And I go, that's a ghost train. Now, I had set up 2 EMF meters, one to the south and one to the north. And I set up 2 voice recorders, voice activated to the west, and one that ran continuous for 72 hours behind us to the east. And we're talking. I said, look, whatever happens. The recorders are going. We're going to get everything, right? No problem. So we're sitting there, and I start with I don't care about photographs anymore. I don't care about video anymore. I really don't even care about audio anymore. What I do when I go out now is I do 250 individual readings, environmental readings. Okay. And I do it with the ITC stuff. I do it with this old school stuff. And I do a baseline when I first get out there.
For people don't really know that, is that like just electronic equipment where you're getting a reading on the environment, like the pressure, if there's mercury or radiation or what?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the guys now that are going out are using EMF meters and RF meters. Yeah, this is like, it's using those kind of meters, but like way beyond that stuff. You know what I mean? And but that's what it's like if you go out with a meter or you go out with a radar detector or something like that. So we're sitting there, and I'm doing the old school stuff, and I'm getting nothing. It's flatlined, absolutely nothing. No energy. Now, it's impossible to go out in the environment and not be able to register any kind of energy, because there's energy all around us all the time. Right. We create our own energy, And so then start with the electronic stuff just to get a baseline. Dead, flat. There's nothing. There's absolutely no energy where we are, and it doesn't make any kind of sense. Absolutely no kind of sense whatsoever. So we're sitting, my cousin's like trying to figure it out. So I had given him a parabolic mic to use because he had never played with any of these toys before. And he was listening with the parabolic mic, not knowing that you could record with it. The ghost train comes by again, and he's like, oh man, that thing sounds like it's right here through the parabolic mic, you know? And I go, yeah, the parabolic mic is one of my favorite toys, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So then we're sitting there and we're discussing it. And in the tree canopy, the opening of the tree canopy, we hear, and this is the craziest thing, we hear a helicopter hovering over us. We hear the blades going. We can feel the percussion of the blades.
Wow.
The trees are moving. The leaves are flying all over the place. But we can't see the helicopter. It's like the helicopter's invisible.
So you didn't see any lights or anything? Or
no, it's still daytime.
Oh, still daytime.
It's still day. We haven't even gotten to the night yet.
Oh, that's weird.
And we can't see it. But there's only one opening over the tree canopy, you know? And my cousin's like, what's going on? And I'm thinking, well, this is a place of high strangeness. Tonight is going to be a very crazy night, you know, with the solar eclipse and the 1% of the moon. Maybe the government, because this is off the Appalachian Trail, maybe the government is monitoring this location and they're watching us because they can see us in the helicopter, but we can't see them. Then the helicopter flies off. And we sit there and we talk about this helicopter, like this invisible helicopter. How could there possibly be a cloaked helicopter so close that we can feel the percussion and the wind, but not see it, you know? So we're sitting there and we're talking and we're just discussing everything that's going on. And I say, okay, you know what? Let's start playing with some of what I usually do is I have 2, 3 or 4 different rituals I use to try to amp up energy or change energy. I like to see how energy changes when I use different things. Okay. So I go through a Native American ritual ceremony. I play it out. We check all the instruments. Nothing. Flatline. We go to ITC, old school, nothing. Okay. I say, plan B, let's use frequency, right? I got a frequency that I use, I got one that I use that always works. I play this frequency. We check everything out. Nothing. Flatlined. So my cousin's like, wow, this is crazy, you know? And I'm explaining to him, dude, I can't tell you how much stuff changes every time I use a different thing, a different ritual. Every ritual changes something in the energy field. You know, it may not change the EMF on both of them, but what changes in one will change something different in another. So then I went out and I used an incense that I use. I like to put fragrance in the air, you know, and I got a certain incense that I use. And I just let it burn and burn and burn. And the whole wood smells like this incense. And I go and I check. And I got, now you got to understand, I got 250 instruments I got to go through every time I do this. And I got to document everything, what I'm doing. And I go through and it's a flatline. Everything flatline. Now I'm at a loss. I have never experienced not being able to either read the energy that's around me, the natural energy, or change the energy, you know. And when you change energy, every time you change the energy, you experience different things, different entities. Go ahead, Rob.
Do you think these are like unknown to you then? I mean, obviously, this is something totally different to you, right? I mean, it's something you haven't experienced a decade ago.
I've never experienced not being able to register any kind of energy.
Mhm.
Now, you could walk outside your back door and do a reading with some kind of instrument, and you will get a reading. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's energy all around. The sun creates energy. The
Right.
trees create energy. Everything creates energy. So we're sitting there and we're discussing this. So it's getting dark now. And I said, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Now that it's dark, I'm going to I got a multi-pack color of glow sticks. I don't use fire for light. I take glow sticks. I got orange glow sticks. I put them down in front of us for ambient light so we can have a conversation. I take a pink glow stick. I put it to myself. A yellow glow stick directly in front of me to the west. A green glow stick directly in front of my cousin to the west. And a blue glow stick to his north. And we're sitting there. And we're sitting there in the dark. And it's crazy because I'm thinking, as this is going on, that I feel like we're in a dome. And I can't read any of the energy because there's a dome over us and no energy is coming in. All right. And this is just going through my head. Go ahead, Rob. You look like you want to say something.
No, I was reading chat. I'm listening, reading chat. No, I'm enthralled by this. I've never heard this before. Much like you.
And I'm looking out into the darkness. Now I can see the glow sticks with my naked eye, but I feel like I'm looking into a black void. Right? This is what I feel. This is the energy I'm feeling. And as I'm thinking this, and this is hand to God, as I'm thinking this, my cousin turns to me and says, man, I feel like we're in a glass dome and we're looking out into a black void. And he gave me chills down my spine. I turned to him and I said, dude, what made you say that?
Right.
And he said, the thought just occurred to me. He goes, I just feel like we're in some kind of dome. And we're looking out into this blackness, this darkness, and we're not getting any kind of, we're not registering anything, you know? Right. So he says, call Cindy. That's our psychic name. He says, see what's going on with Cindy. So we call Cindy, and Cindy says, okay, it's dark now. The energy's changed. She feels the difference. She says, the tricksters are there now. She says, they're there.
So when you say trickster, is that like a paranormal apparition, a being, spirit?
It's an entity.
Okay.
Some people refer to it as being paranormal, ghost-like things. Other people refer to it as being entities from a different dimension.
Okay.
I mean, however you want to define it. Sure. She calls them tricksters. She says they're from a different dimension.
Okay. And
she says, things are gonna start happening now. She says, you're definitely gonna get touched. I said, okay. So we're sitting there and I'm looking to my left at this pink glow stick, and this pink glow stick is going up and down and left and right. And my cousin Sean is looking to his right. He's looking at the blue one, and the blue one is going up and down and left and right. It's doing figure eights. It's doing all kinds of stuff. And the green one is doing figure eights. The only one that's not moving is the yellow one directly in front of me. So we have very powerful headlamps on because of course it was always going to be 1% of the moon. I said, let's get it power. So there are 700 lumens. We could put it in a spot. We could put them in a flood. So I said, let's put them in a flood. Let's hit these glow sticks and see what's moving them. Turn the lights on. The glow sticks stop moving. So I say, okay. This happens 2 or 3 times. And I say, okay, you know what? Let's get up and go over to the glow sticks because I know where I put them. And if something is moving these glow sticks, what are the odds they're going to put them back exactly where I had them, you know? And we went and we checked the pink one and the green one and the blue one. And every single one was exactly where I put it. Didn't make any kind of sense.
Wow.
Didn't make any kind of sense. Now the ghost train comes by again, right? It's later in the night. The ghost train goes by again. And my cousin says, can I do a scream? He wants to do a Sasquatch scream. I said, knock yourself out, kid. Not, 20-year-old kid. He's 6'5". He's got lungs like, an air balloon. And he lets out a scream that just rocks my socks, blows me away. It seems like it goes on for like 10 minutes, right? And we're sitting there and we're waiting for a reply. And across the lake, on the rocks on the other side of the lake, there's a cliffside on the east side of the lake. We hear a scream comes back at us. Okay. And my cousin is bouncing off the wall. He's so excited. This is so new to him, right? I got to hold him down. He's so excited. And this thing screams. And I say, that's interesting because the Sasquatch home range is above the western ridge directly in front of us. The east side of the lake is the Dogman side.
No way.
Hand to God. So I was like, why are the Sasquatches on that side of the lake tonight? And why is this thing screaming? Now, this thing, and I swear to God, this is God's honest truth. This thing screams 2 more times. And every time it screams, it goes from 500 yards behind us, 1,000 yards behind us on the other side of the lake, to a mile to the north of us in a matter of seconds. 10 seconds. I don't even know how fast. 10 seconds, it screams again. And now it's like a mile north of us. And then 10 seconds later, it screams again. And it's like another mile. It's 2 miles away in a matter of 20 seconds. And my cousin is freaking out.
I can imagine. First timer.
It's pitch black. When I tell you it's dark, it's dark. I've been out in these woods 1% of the moon. It's dark. And he turns to me and he says, is it possible for an animal to move that fast in this darkness without running into a tree, a rock? And I go, dude, the only way that Bigfoot can do that is if it's jumping through portals. Yeah, there's no way it's going 1 mile in 10 seconds.
There's just no way.
No, it's just no way. There's no way you can convince me that they run that fast, And I said, it must be jumping through portals. I said, it's the only way you could do it. And it runs north and it never comes back. And we're sitting there. And I said, okay, you know what? It's dark now. It's a different time. Let's try all the rituals again. I break out all the ITC stuff. I do all my rituals. Flatline. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We call the psychic. We ask her what's going on. And she says, the only way I could describe what I'm feeling is that you guys are in a dome and you're looking into a black void. Now,
third person that says that.
My cousin almost falls off his chair because I thought it. He said it. She's in Arkansas. Okay. We're in New York. Yeah. And now she's feeling the same thing we're feeling, And she's like, what's going on? And we told her about the glow sticks moving and everything. And she says, okay, those are the tricksters. She goes, be careful if you guys get up and move around because they will trip you. They will push you. I said, okay, we'll be on our guard. And so we're sitting there and I break out my night vision camera and I'm filming and I can't find any of the glow sticks in my night vision camera. I'm zooming in. I know where they are. I put them there. I pull the camera down. I can see them with my naked eye. I pull the camera up and I zoom in. I got nothing on the camera. Nothing. Doesn't make any sense. Why isn't the thermal, the night vision camera seeing it?
Right.
So I said, okay. I put that down. I break out the full spectrum. I do the same thing with the full spectrum. Can't find them. Just can't find them. They're in the camera's eye. The camera can't see them.
Wow.
Why can't the camera see them? I can see them with my naked eye. Then I put that full spectrum down. I break out the thermal. Same thing with the thermal. Filming with the thermal. Not there. Can't see it. My cousin's trying on his side. He's not getting anything. I'm not getting anything. He breaks out his iPhone and he films the glow stick moving on his iPhone. His iPhone was able to capture the glow stick. I sent it to Rob, the video.
That's weird.
And why is the iPhone able to pick it up, but all of my high-tech, expensive equipment can't even see it?
Right.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
That's just weird.
Makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And so we're sitting there. I do all my rituals. I can't get anything to move. I can't get any kind of readings on anything. None of my old school stuff is working, and I'm at a loss. Just at a loss. And we're sitting there, and it's getting later and later, and we're sitting there, and I'm looking to my left at that pink glow stick moving, and my cousin is looking to his right at the blue one moving. And he goes, yeah, what do you not? He goes, yeah, what do you want? What are you talking about? He goes, you just tapped me on my shoulder. What do you want? I said, I didn't touch you. He goes, yeah, you did. You know, he thinks I'm joking with him, right? Playing with him. I go, Sean, I didn't touch you. I'm so locked in on this thing over here. I didn't touch you. He goes, Al, somebody just tapped me on my shoulder. So obviously the tricksters are here. Now they're in our camp. They're maybe running around us. I don't know. We can't see them. I got all these cameras. We got cameras pointed in every direction. They're not filming anything. You know, the only thing that's showing up on the cameras is us.
Wow.
Nothing else.
You know, going back, this is such a fantastic experience. Going back a little bit earlier, you had mentioned something about elves. Now, do you know what role that they might have played? When I think of an elf, is that a mystical person? Is it a little person? Is it a paranormal entity? I wonder how that plays a role with this. I think that they're more of a, I don't know, Al, flesh and blood person, or is that a magical thing that
the elves? I believe the elves are. Well, I know the elves. The elves are big in England, Ireland, and the Netherlands. They have what they call elf mounds. Yeah. And in these countries, if there's an elf mound in the middle of the road and they're building a highway, they'll build around it because they don't want any bad luck. They're supposed to be. I would imagine I would put them under mystical creatures. You know, if I had to label them.
Okay.
But you know, again, I don't know. I've never seen an elf. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm thinking elves. I'm thinking. I'm thinking, Keebler cookies.
Yeah. Well, she said what she seen looked like small. They showed themselves as small elves. She said, but she felt that they were mischievous,
Yeah.
And she said that their energy wasn't really, even though they were showing themselves to her in her mind's eye as elves, the energy wasn't right. She said, because she's dealt with elves before. She knows what the energy feels like of an elf, And she said she felt that these things were more mischievous. She called them tricksters. That's what she called them,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, no problem. So we're sitting there. It's getting late. And we're sitting there. And it's just, it doesn't mean the helicopter comes back like 3 hours later. Pitch black again. It's over the the opening of the tree canopy. We can hear it. We can feel it. We can feel the percussion blades. We can see the leaves moving. Everything is blowing everywhere, but there's nothing in the sky. I even pointed all 3 cameras up at the sky. I figured, okay, if nothing else, the thermal is going to pick up the heat from the engine. Nothing. I don't know what we were in that we couldn't film out of. It just didn't make any sense. My cousin kept saying the same thing all night. He goes, man, these woods are devoid of life. They're so devoid of life. There's no crickets, there's no tree frogs, there's no possums or raccoons, no night animals, no owls, no nothing. He goes, I've never been in the woods that's so devoid of life. I'm like, all right, enough with the devoid of life. You know what I mean? I'm like, I understand, you know,
it's like looking at doll's eyes, devoid of life. I do not like dolls.
And every time I go in there with people and we have these kind of experiences, everybody says the same thing. Always use that same phrase. The woods are devoid of life. Wow. So we're sitting there.
We had a quick question from
absolutely.
People in chat. What and I brought up the question about elves, and I forgot who I went past me. Is a gnome and an elf along the same? Would you categorize them the same or different?
No, I would say they're different. They're different entities. Yeah. Again, gnomes go back to Ireland and England and stuff like that. And again, they're woodland creatures, you know. But I would think they're 2 separate entities. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
So we're sitting there, and you know, it's crazy night. We're experiencing all this craziness, but there's still like I can't get any readings, and I can't contemplate why I can't get any readings. When I look straight ahead I'm looking straight ahead. This is where I put that yellow glow stick. And I'm looking at that yellow glow stick, and I'm looking, and I can't quite figure out what's different about it. Then the little light bulb goes off. And, oh crap! There's 3 yellow glow sticks there now, not 1. But there was only 1 yellow glow stick in the multiple color pack. It's like, go to my cousin Sean. I go, Sean, come over here. Tell me what you see over there. And he leans over my shoulder and he looks over and he says, I see 3 yellow glow sticks looking back at us. I go, this is blowing my mind. I said, come on, let's go take a look. We kept our headlamps off. We got up, and as we started walking, and this is about, I'm going to say 50 yards away from us. So as we start to walk over, we get about 25 yards into the walk over to let's look at the yellow glow sticks. When 2 of them blink.
Glow sticks aren't supposed to blink.
It stops us both dead in our tracks. I reach out and I stop Sean. I go, stop. And he goes, what? I go, I think it's time we put our headlamps on. Yeah. I said, put them on flood so we can get as much light as we can around us. And I got goosebumps just talking about it. So we put our headlamps on, and this creature, which is squatting down next to the yellow glow stick, starts to stand up. He's going higher and higher and higher. And we're just looking at this thing, and it's getting higher and higher. And it's this bear Squatch thing that the psychics warned us about, that she claims is very, very dangerous, and we have to be very careful of. And it's not from this realm, and it doesn't know what people are. Okay? And we're looking at this thing, and it's looking at us, and it turns and it runs from us, and it runs north up along the western ridge line. And at the end of the sacred site, there's like a 4-foot stone wall. This thing jumped over the wall. When it landed, it felt like it was an earthquake. And it ran through those trees like a bulldozer, and it just took all those trees down. And my cousin is like, oh my God, what was that? And I said, I think it's time to call Cindy, you know? So we go back, We go back to, we pick up the voice recorder that was over by the because that was the only one that was voice activated. So we got that one, and we get the one behind us. And now we had 2 EMF meters, one next to the pink glow stick and one next to the blue glow stick. And even when those glow sticks were moving, those meters never went off. Not only do the lights flash on them, but they have bells that ring.
Wow.
And the bells never rang and the lights never flashed, but those glow sticks were moving. And I'm so glad that my cousin Sean caught it on his camera to validate what I'm saying, because I'm sure people would think I'm full of shit. You know what I mean?
Is that the video you sent me?
Yeah.
I'm going to pull that up. Now, I'm going to see if I can enlarge it.
Yeah, you got to enlarge it to get
I got to do my best. Everybody, for the people on the podcast side, you're not going to see this. And everyone in chat, if you're on your phone, you're probably not going to see this. But I'm going to try this, Al. And it starts after about the 20-second mark.
Yeah. Did you guys see it? I couldn't see it. I'm on my phone. I couldn't see it.
No, I saw it on the computer pretty good. I saw it good. I don't know.
I made it big on my computer though.
I made it big. I don't know if people in chat, if you were in your chat on your phone, you didn't see that. But if you watch on your TV or computer, I definitely saw it, Al.
Yeah.
Oh, you seen it? Okay. You seen
it?
You guys seen it? Okay.
Yeah. It looked like a pink something, moving around.
Yeah, I think his on his side was blue, honest, because I think I had the pink one on my side. But yeah, it was weird. It was so weird, and I'm so happy that he actually, because that was the one thing I would have never thought to pull out my phone to film it, because I got all these high-tech cameras and I can't even see it. Yeah.
Now, really quick, I'm reading some comments in chat. Okay, you guys in chat watching, yeah, it was muted. I heard some of the guys in the background, but if you had your phone on, you can't see it. If you're on a computer or your TV, if you watch later, it's definitely there. And because I blew up the computer screen, so a lot of you did not see it. I'm sorry about that. It was minute and it was from a distance, but it's definitely Al. That was pretty strange, man.
Did you see the way that glow stick moved?
Yeah, I did. It was like I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, and then you go over and you go over, because I know where I placed it, and it's right back where I put it, like exactly where I put it, not even off like by an inch.
That's too weird.
Yes, exact same thing. So we go back to base camp. We pick up the 2 digital voice recorders. We pick up the 2 EMF meters. We go back to base camp and we call Cindy and we tell her what happened. And she says, okay, I think it's time for you guys to go. Now that this thing has made an appearance, this thing is really scaring her. And she's like, I think you guys should go. It's like, okay, we'll go. Now, on the way out, we packed up our bags and we hike out. And the Appalachian Trail that runs along this lake, it's like a goat trail. It's treacherous. It's rocky. We had a lot of rain this summer in New York, so there was still a lot of water running off the mountain, so the rocks were wet and everything, And I'm telling my cousin, just go slow, nice and easy. We got our headlamps on. We're going to take our time out of here, because it's like at least a 2.5 mile walk on this treacherous part of the trail. And then it opens up to like a mining road. It gets real wide. So we're walking along the road, and on our side of the woods, there was a fire. So the woods have been all cleared out. All right. And so there's no mountain that we can't see. There's no rock faces that we can't see. But on the other side of the lake is the cliffs, the rocks. So we're walking. I'm in front. He's behind. And we hear a bada boom. Something hits the water. And we both turn around with our headlamps on. And we see the water shoot up about 25 feet.
Wow.
And my cousin turns to me, and he's got his eyes are like, dinner plates. He's like, what was that? Now I'm thinking, I don't want to tell this kid what I think it is, because I don't want him to try to freak out and try to start running and get hurt. Right. His father will kill me. So I turn to him and I say, don't worry about it. It's just a beaver jumping in the water. Tail hits the water and it's splashed. And he looks at me and goes, a beaver is going to make that water go up that high? I said, you ever see the size of a beaver tail? So the beavers over here are huge. He's from the city. He doesn't know how big beavers get,
Right.
So he's like, go ahead.
Really quick, I'm going to take 10 seconds to thank for our small little thing for our edit. Cool-Ann, thanks for becoming a new BMR pirate. Thanks, Cool-Ann, for joining. The Girl and Her Gone for the super sticker. James for your super sticker. We appreciate it around here. Help support what we do. We appreciate the super chats and the memberships. And also, please, if you're new here, subscribe to Bigfoot Mission Rob, the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, and of course, Texas Front Porch, and my buddy Barton Donnelly in Humanoids. You can see Barton every Wednesday night at 9 live. Okay, yeah.
All right.
This is about 10 seconds.
Okay. So we start hiking, and we're going to continue to hike. And we're on, like I said, we're on this trail for maybe 2.5 miles. And we go maybe a quarter of a mile. And it happens again. Bada boom. And we turn around and we see the splash go up like 25 feet. And now I turn my headlamp onto spot, right? These things will go 700 feet, right? Wow. So we're looking around on the other side of the cliff where the rocks are, because I'm thinking it's got to be coming from the other side, off the cliff. What's ever happening has got to be coming off the cliff, right? But the rocks are landing on our side of the lake. The lake is 52-acre lake. It's a big lake. To throw a humongous rock all the way across the lake is insane, the kind of strength you would need. But then I'm looking at the cutout in front of us where the fire was, and there's nothing there but just shrubs. So there's nothing above us throwing rocks over our heads, because we would be able to see them. This is the fall. There are no leaves on the bushes. It's just the bushes. That's just, there's no leaves, and we can't see them. And we're walking. So my cousin's like, are you sure these are beavers? And I'm like, absolutely beavers. No doubt about it, beavers, right? So we're hiking out. Now, at the beginning of the mining road is a ranger station, okay? At this particular lake, you're not allowed to be there at night. The ranger does patrol the lake around 11 o'clock. He will come up at it and drive through and look, make sure there's nobody camping out or anything like that, or teenagers having bonfires and stuff like that. And so I tell my cousin, when we get to the ranger station, let me do all the talking, because I'm going to show you an invisible eye. I got some aerosol spray. I'm going to spray. You're going to see an invisible eye. When we go through that invisible eye, a bell is going to ring up at the ranger station. The dogs are going to start barking. By the time we go 10 feet, we're going to be underneath the sensor light, big bright light, and the ranger is going to come out. Let me do all the talking. Okay, cuz you got it. So we get there. I show him the invisible eye. We walk through it and we wait. We can see the lights are on at the station. We can see the police car in front of the ranger station. We never hear the dogs. The dogs never start barking. So we look at each other. Okay, we keep walking. We get to the sensor light. We walk underneath the sensor light. Light never goes on. So again, we look at each other like, the hell's going on? We hike all the way out to the main road, which is like a couple of 100 yards away. We sit down on the guardrail and we discuss what just happened in front of the ranger station. Because I've been to this location a million times, and you cannot get past the ranger station at night. Okay? We're sitting on the guardrail. It's like 5 minutes later, and the central light goes on. There's nobody there. There's nobody under the sensor light.
Wow.
There's no deer. There's no animals running underneath because the sensor is at the 6 foot level to go off when a person walks by, not an animal. And the light goes on and there's nobody there. And the ranger never comes out. So we're laughing hysterical because like everything that happened this night was so crazy. Like, you know, it's never happens like this. We hike about another half a mile up to the car. Car's parked at the trailhead. We get to the car. We throw all the gear in the car. And my cousin says, let's check the digital voice recorders, you know? It's like, okay. So we go and we check the voice activated one first. Didn't record anything all night. Never. I don't even think it went on, to be honest with you. It never went on. So now I'm saying, okay, now let's get the one that was on behind us. We know it's on because it runs continuously. We've seen the numbers moving, you know, we checked it periodically to make sure it was still on because sometimes these entities will shut stuff off on you, you know, and we're checking it. So we get in the car and I'm very excited because now we got the 3 whoops. We got the 3 ghost trains. We got the 2 helicopters. You know, we got all this stuff on this digital voice recorder. We go to pull up the file, and the file says error corrupted.
Oh, no.
Nothing. We got nothing. And my cousin's like, how did that happen? I said, I don't know. Maybe that helicopter that came back that night zapped it. I don't know. We both looked at it 2 or 3 different times. And I made him look at it because he's got young eyes. You know what I mean? Just to make sure. But it lights up when you touch it. So you can see that the numbers are running. Nothing. It said error, corrupted file. And we got nothing. It was the craziest night. Now, I planned on going back 3 weeks later on the 28th because that was the night we were going to have the lunar eclipse with a full moon. And next time I come on, I'll tell you about that because that's a whole different ball game. A whole different ball game. Wow. And it was just the strangest night I ever had at this location. Every time I go to this location, I get something. Something happens. I've never been there. I've been there with Chris Reinhardt from Discover Sasquatch. We've had stuff happen. I've been there with other investigators, you know, paranormal investigators. Stuff has happened. It's never, ever failed where nothing has happened, you know? And that night was just the craziest night in the world. And that's why I was going, and it was crazy because both nights in October were going to be warm and both nights were going to be rain free. And all summer long, it did nothing but rain up here. So I was going out both to those locations on those 2 nights, even if I had to go by myself, which is something I never do. But I wanted to see how the full moon goes against the 1% and the lunar eclipse affects it the way the solar eclipse. I wanted to get all those readings, you know what I mean? And it was just a crazy, crazy night. It was like one of the craziest nights of my life.
You know, this is fantastic. This is one of the first shows where I really didn't have to say too much. Which, by the way, I love it. Chris and I like when we have a guest where we can kick back, chill, not get the yes or no answers.
And listen ourselves.
Yeah, you know, it's like, and I love this. And a question I had like 40 minutes ago, you had mentioned about like the thinning of the veil, and then you mentioned about the lunar eclipse, the moon. And let me ask you this, and this is, again, something that you've never experienced in all the years you've been doing this.
No,
I'm not going to say how many. It's you've been doing it a while.
I'm an old man. Yeah.
You're not that old, man.
I'm an old dude.
You said you're 61, so it's not too bad. 61 is the new 50, I get. So then you mentioned something, and everyone throws out the thinning of the veil, and I get that to an extent. But with this, do you think that with the moon, the eclipse, and you mentioned the thinning of the veil, do you think the veil is getting that much thinner? And for those people that don't know what the veil is, that's just kind of isn't that just like an energy field that prevents malevolence or something?
Yeah, it's an energy field that prevents dimensions from crossing over into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And when the veil gets thin, you get those dimensions, those different dimensions that may cross over one another in different timelines, and so that's what it is. But when you're at a location like the sacred site, that's the energy there is just off the charts to begin with. According to my psychic, she claims that white men built it. Mm-hmm. She said white men in robes thousands of years ago built this site. They used it as a ritual site. The Native Americans claim that the Sky Brothers would come down, and either mine out of the mountain or take water out of the lake. They used it as a sacred site. The Sasquatch use it today as a sacred site. So it's been a sacred site since the beginning of time. And I think it is because of all the elements that run through there that just makes the energy radiate. Sure. You know what I mean? And I think certain people like shamans and religious people, priests and whatever, they know that this stuff exists, and they build their temples and their churches and their sacred sites, their holy sites on these locations because of the energy fields around it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were talking about how, you lost everything, every bit of your equipment. And I wonder why that is, because I too have had that happen, not like everything we had, but it was me and another gal. We were running EVP session, and next day we went to listen to, and it was 2 different recorders, and both of them wiped out. I can understand one of us making a mistake, but both of us, So I wonder why these things do that. They just.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm the type of guy, when I go out with my digital voice recorders and my cameras, I make sure that every piece of equipment is made by a different manufacturer, mm-hmm. because each manufacturer sets their microphones to different frequencies. So what you don't catch on one, you'll catch on another. Right. And, and I've caught different things on one compared to the other, mm-hmm. but to have absolutely nothing,
right.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is in New York?
Yeah.
Hudson Valley. When I come to New York, I'm looking you up, Al.
No, absolutely. Without doubt. Yeah. I'll take you out there for sure. Yeah. It's a pretty amazing. I mean, I have a bunch of, locations that I investigate, mm-hmm. but this one is by far my favorite because of everything I've experienced there over the years. And mm-hmm. when I tell you what happened on October 28th, the night of the lunar eclipse and the full moon, it's going to mm-hmm. blow your mind because it's just mind-boggling. You're
either going to have to do part 2 here, or I'm going to have to go on the girls' show, and you can do it on the girls' show.
Yeah, however you want.
I'm just saying, I like to spread the wealth between my lovely blondes.
Absolutely. However,
I know
you want to do. I'm easy.
I know you have to. Yeah, I'll get with you. Al, where can we find you? We're not ending the show, everybody, so stay on. But Al does have to get up in about 6 hours. So, Al, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me on Facebook at Bronxville Paranormal Society, or the New York State UFO Project, or the New York State Dogman Project, or the New York State Sasquatch Organization, or the North American Dogman Project.
I never should have asked. Just go on Facebook, type in El Santariga on Facebook.
Yeah.
And was actually invited to do be in a UFO documentary.
Very cool.
We can't talk about it because they got a non-disclosure.
Non-disclosure.
So I can't talk about it. But it's a very, very, very cool location and a very cool thing that's happening with it. And before I go, I just want to just throw this out there. I lost 2 hours of time the other night. I don't know what happened.
You know that's aliens, Al.
Oh, I know that's aliens. Yes, I know that's aliens. But I'm just throwing that out there, and it's just funny how that happens with this documentary that I'm been asked to do is all about aliens. Yeah, and I don't know if that's synchronicity, a coincidence, or what. But
no coincidence.
There are no coincidences. I agree. But it's just strange that it happened this weekend, last weekend. So just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But you guys invite me in and I'll go into part 2. And part 2 is even crazier than part 1.
Well, we'll holler at you for one of our shows for sure.
Well, we're gonna holler at you, Al. Because I'm just getting warmed up. I was just getting warmed up. I told you if we had 100 people in chat, I could let you go. We got 88 in chat.
Well, you know what? I didn't know I was going to have to work tomorrow when we made the schedule. I thought this week was going to be, every other day, and I was going to be able to sleep in tomorrow. But my boss brought me in tomorrow, so I gotta get there. You know what happened? My partner got sick with COVID, so I'm working with a skeleton crew, so. Gotcha. I gotta get in there. Yeah, I gotta go to work. So yeah.
Well, that's okay. I do appreciate it anyway. Everyone loved it. We're not gonna have the show right now. We're gonna say goodbye to Al. Thank you once again, Al, for taking out your time and go rest up.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. And I'm gonna send you that photograph, and you're gonna freak out when you see it. Yeah,
for sure.
All right. Good night, folks.
All right, man.
Yeah. Ciao. Thank you.
Bye. So everybody, we're not going to go anywhere because I tell you what, for those just coming in late, and you know what, it always figures there's like 20 people just rolled on in. We had El Santariga, great show. You're going to have to watch the replay. However, this show is not going to end because I go longer than an hour and 10 minutes. I like to break it down, KRISTA, because I know that you had a lot to ask Al, and I want your thoughts on this. And I know you got a lot, and I've got some questions for you on this. So what I'm going to do, though, is because since this is kind of unusual how he had to leave a little early, I'm just going to take that 5-minute break thing right now because I got to let out the dog. And we'll come back and finish up. So everybody out there in chat, stay because KRISTA's got some ideas about it. So do I. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for coming on. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Just give us about, maybe a little less than a couple of minutes. I'll be back in a second. And I haven't done that. I haven't done this in such a long time.
You remember how to take the break.
I can't even find it.
Don't go anywhere, everybody. We'll be right back.
We're not going nowhere. We already lost 3 people. That's okay. We'll be right back. I'm back. That was quick. I just had to let the dog out, and I hate doing that 5 minute break when you got people in chat. And this was a great show with Al Santariga. He had to go get up and go to work early in the morning. So thanks for Al's time. But I tell you what, fantastic show. You got to watch it from the beginning. And Chris and I are going to break this down a little bit because I got some thoughts on this. And I welcome anybody in chat if you have any questions as well to
You
throw our
didn't tell
way.
me you weren't taking the whole 5 minutes.
I said 2 minutes.
Oh,
As soon as 4 people left, I said, "Man, I got to get my dog back in the house." I did want to thank James and the girl in her gong for awesome super chats and Cool Hand for becoming a BMR pirate. You too can become a BMR pirate. Hit the join button, and of course, the super chats are a great way to support what we do around here. I use it for my equipment. KRISTA uses it for her equipment, and things that we do to provide for you guys for good shows. So I love you guys and thanks for coming in tonight. And again, I wasn't going to do an hour show, so we go usually 90 minutes. So we're going to continue on, KRISTA, because I think there was some things. Hi, Maggie. Arr, Maggie's a pirate. Here's the thing. When it comes to these things, I've got some familiarity with paranormal experiences, but you, KRISTA, investigate it. I'm not a researcher, you guys. I mean, I go out look for Bigfoot on occasion and things like that. I've had a Bigfoot encounter, and yes, I go in the woods. I've seen ghosts. I've seen the paranormal. But KRISTA, you do the investigation. So, and that was a lot. I wish we could have added Alfred another hour because I had so many questions.
It went on quite a bit longer.
So yeah, I wish, but that's okay. Thank you to Al. Life happens. I get it. So, what's your analysis about what he was speaking about?
It's just that's a place full of high strangeness. Wow. I mean, it sounds like you got a little bit of everything from paranormal to a little bit of cryptid to some UFO and everything in between. You know?
Yeah, I know. And at the beginning of the show, when he talks about the thinning of the veil, and I asked him the question where he was experiencing things, and everybody listening, Al's been doing this for he's 61. He started doing this like in his mid-20s, early 30s. So he's been doing this for like a long time. And for a guy that I respect in the community with his investigations and experiences, for him to say it's the first thing he's ever experienced, it doesn't puzzle me. And I'm not really taken aback because there's so many things going on we're just unaware of, KRISTA.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He was talking about, like the Bearzilla and, just things like that, I mean, I've heard of people talking about Bearzilla, and it's not something I personally would ever want to come across.
Bearzilla. I mean, that's another. I wrote that down because we've heard of Bigfoot. We've heard of Dogman.
Bearzilla.
You've seen a show? Bearzilla. Oh, like on YouTube? It was
on one of YouTube. It was regular. It was on I want to say Discovery Plus or something.
Okay, because it's not the first time I heard. I have heard the term Bearzilla, but nobody ever during any of the shows. I've done like 100 shows now, and you've done a handful yourself. That's the first time I ever heard of that, and I thought I heard about all of it.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Did you ever come face to face with a Dogman or a Bearzilla?
I think Bearzilla.
Would you?
I would not want to come across.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Dogman myself.
Yeah, well, see, with Dogman, unless you're talking LBL, when we can talk LBL, 4 people actually were murdered, and then a handful of other people have gone missing, allegedly killed. Again, alleged, right? That's why we investigate it. That's why everybody investigates it, because we just don't know. I mean, there are facts out there that suggest that something that was not human killed these people.
Yeah.
Correct?
Right. James has it. It was on the Shiver show, he believes. Okay, and I think that's it. Yep. Bearilla. That's what it is. He's right.
So I've heard of it, and if you're going to pose that question, would I rather see Bearzilla or the Dogman? See, for me, Bearzilla is more unknown than Dogman. The dogman encounters we've
It's
come
true.
across is mostly it's just scaring people all to hell,
Mhm.
with the exception of fatalities. But there's been fatalities with Sasquatch.
Yeah.
You know, there's been fatalities if you want to go deeper with Mothman. Mothman shows up on a bridge, supposedly a harbinger of to warn people. But how did a Mothman warn people when in Mount Pleasant the bridge collapsed and killed 1,200 people? Went right in
Right.
the river.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Mothman is probably if you go on that alone,
Mhm.
Mothman's responsible for the loss of human life.
Right.
So who's to say
However,
that's not
though,
the
some
worst
say
part?
it was a warning, though.
Yeah, but how did it warn? Yeah, but that's the thing. If Mothman warned people, what did he say? Hey, did he flap his wings? Was he standing in the middle of a bridge saying, "Do not come here; it's going to collapse in 7 minutes"? I
No
never
idea.
understood that part of it.
I don't know either. I just going by what I heard.
That's what I heard too. That a harbinger. Okay, well, it warned. How did it warn the people? But anyway, I don't. I don't want to talk about Mothman. We're getting back to
Yeah.
this. But
We
he.
can talk about Mothman Friday night on my show.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'd be something we can bring up because I have a cool Mothman story for that. Anyways, but L did have some pictures too. He had to leave, and I'll throw some pictures and we can kind of
Mhm.
take a look at here. He was talking earlier. If I got him here, yeah. Well, here's what L. Now, this is not the. He sent me this picture.
Mhm.
What does that remind you of? You've
A
seen this
Gugway.
picture before. A Gugway
Mhm.
does not look like anything like a bear. Now, would you want to come across the Gugway?
No. No, because I know that means face eater. I don't want
Gugway.
anything eat my face.
Gugway's the face eater. And and yeah, I would not want to see this. You remember my encounter with it had the creature had the fangs in the front.
Mhm.
Well, these are more fierce than mine, but I'll tell you what, that don't look right.
Mm-mm.
I mean, just look at that thing. It looks like it'd want to eat your
Oh yeah.
face off.
Yeah, look at those fangs. Those canines there it's got.
Yeah, and but Al at the end of the show says something very interesting before he had to leave. So we'll have part two, with me or you or whoever, and maybe you guys since he just did it with me. But every time someone says missing time, did you notice his response when he said I missed time, and I right away said that you were abducted by an alien, and what
Mhm.
he say without question? Yep, he did.
Mhm.
So I can't wait to hear that story.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm anxious to hear the rest of this too. We'll talk backstage and see about getting them back.
Yeah, we'll have to talk backstage. We'll get him on or anyway. So, any final thoughts? I know I don't want the show to be. We can end it in a little bit here. People kind of falling off. 72 people still in chat. If anybody in chat has a
I'm good to keep
question,
going.
I'm gonna keep going here for you guys. If you guys want to stay up and listen to me and Krista for a little bit. But
William says the Choctaws say Gugway that they prey on anything that is meat. I think they prey on anything and everything. Absolutely.
you know what I did here though. Now that we think about it, and I show the picture of the Gugway, I had Duke on Sullivan
Mm-hmm.
months ago, and we were talking, and a lot of people had misidentified a Gugway for an actual grizzly bear.
Mm-hmm. So it was
Now,
a grizzly bear, and they said it was a Gugway or vice versa.
both. Well, they thought it was a grizzly bear with a bear-looking head, but they said it was just too big to be a grizzly bear.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't have like the snout. Okay, really quick. Let's look at this picture really quick again. So you
Mm-hmm.
see how I mean, it's not a big snout, but that big, huge mouth. A bear, Sasquatch does not have a mouth like that. But then again, mine
Yeah.
kind of did. So, but they said that this creature they were talking about this grizzly bear was just too big to be it, and maybe a Gugway could be, maybe this grizzly Squatch in some instances is misidentified as a
Could
Gugway.
be. Could very well be. Could very well be. You know, Will Lunsford, he has a picture of a gugway that is fantastic that he took himself. And first thing when he showed Brandy and I, Brandy was like, "That's a gugway." Absolutely. There's a couple questions, BMR.
Yeah, let's go through.
Mike A says, "Al, when you're hearing the train, are you hearing?" Oh, I just threw it up. It got back down.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to get
out. Oh, that's all right. Well, so if you're hearing the train, are you hearing the horn or the train noise itself? But then he kind of reiterated because Al had to go, but he says, BMR, do you know what Al meant by the train noise, like train noise or train horn?
Well, yeah, and he kept rolling on like the train, right? I
think he actually heard the train.
I was in the sound of the locomotive going down the tracks.
Yeah. That's what I think he actually heard the ghost train, you know, like a normal train.
Right. William says Bigfoot doesn't have fangs like that bear described with square teeth. Now, I'll tell you what, William, I don't know if you've seen the rendition of my Bigfoot because I saw, and again, William, to this day, I just say it's my Bigfoot encounter, but I don't know what the hell it was. And for you, William, because I know you haven't seen my picture and some of the new people, this is Sibylla Irwin did this picture for me, this rendition, and we spent 2 days a week for 3 months to get it about as close, as accurate as possible, almost 90%. So, William, I'm going to show you what I saw. This was my Bigfoot that I saw standing along the shoreline 90 feet away. Now, if you look at it, it looks like an odd thing, right? It looks like a human, a deformed human. He's got that wrinkled gray. I mean, kind of looks like a human. KRISTA, would you say so? Kind of?
I would.
You know, it's got the flowing, beautiful hair. And I saw this in real life, you guys. And this is a rendition by Sibylla Irwin. So now, William and everyone listening, it didn't end there because the creature I saw roared back, dropped its mouth, yelled at me, screamed, roared in unison. I was hit with some sort of sonic blast, which I refuse to call infrasound. Knocked my girlfriend off the boat, knocked me back about 6 inches. And this is what it looked like when it roared at me. Now, if you take a look at this, KRISTA.
Yeah.
It's got fangs. It's got incisors on the bottom, 2 fangs. And look, and I'll show the side by side for comparison view. The one on the left is what I saw. And then all of a sudden, seconds later, it goes into this frenzy and it starts yelling at us. And look how the face contorts.
Yeah, it looks like a whole other being. A whole different being.
Yeah, I mean, that wrinkled grayish skin gets taut and tight. Even the complexion, the color, as I always explain, goes from that gray to a dark, almost purple black. And look at the offset eyes on the left, kind of droopy. And on this one, it's still offset a little bit, but they roll back black. And so that's why I say, to me, it always reminded me of some sort of demon, right?
Right. I could see that.
You know, I mean, if you take the hair off of that and make it bald, it would look like a demon. I've never seen a demon with reddish brown hair. Not that I've seen a demon. No. I haven't.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and again, you know, and this is what it was doing at the shoreline. It lifted up its arms, and when it lifts the arms, it roared at me. You know, scary, fierce, kind of out of that hair coming down from the arms. And then here he was in the beginning, just sitting there all like, hi.
Yeah.
Now, still, to see that, I was still mesmerized, and I could not process this.
Sure.
But when that hit me, I was like, let's get the hell out of here.
Right.
Wow. So, you know, do they all have I know Bigfoot don't have fangs, and yes, I know about the chiclet teeth, which is what we always hear about, and I get that. That's why today, for me, I don't know what I saw, KRISTA, till this day.
This is an interesting comment here by William. He said that is the Kalani, I can't pronounce. It's evil and a foreteller of death.
Well, I got Now, William, I don't know if you've heard my story.
That's why I thought that was interesting.
Hey, William, man, I don't know if you're pulling my leg, and I respect you, and I thank you for being a member and being in chat. I don't. So, in my story, William, my girlfriend who got knocked off the boat, William, my girlfriend died 2 months later. Exactly. I saw that encounter June 15th of 2018. We got hit with that sonic blast, saw the creature. My girlfriend Cindy died August 15th of 2018, 2 months to the year. So the statement that you just presented me is yet another mystery, KRISTA.
Right, it is.
So,
Absolutely.
William, you got to look me up at beyondbmr@gmail.com. We got to talk about that because now you got my head spinning.
Right.
Hey, Bart, how you doing? So, wow, that's
I
something.
know.
So, yeah, these things are, like I said, yeah, Bigfoot, okay, fangs or not. Well, what I saw had fangs. It was an inhumanoid or a
Sure.
demon.
Yeah.
So,
Can't explain that one.
so yeah, William, definitely go on my page and look at my email. I got to talk with you, buddy, because that's another rabbit hole for good old BMR to go down. So
Wow.
I do thank you for that, William. So that's
absolutely.
See, it never ends, does it, KRISTA? It never ends.
Mm-mm.
There's always
And
something.
you'll
learn something every day.
You're not gonna honestly probably know what that was you saw until you meet your maker yourself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess.
I
I
mean,
guess so. Yeah, William, you just struck a chord with me there because now I'm like all again flabbergasted, But no, it's in a good way. It's positive. I'm not mad at all. I'm happy. That's why we do these shows. That's why we have guests
Right.
on. That's why we have a great chat audience because you guys come up. You guys think out of the box. I'm going to say something right now, KRISTA. I go, since we're podcasters, I will go on a lot of channels, not because I'm a fan, but I'll look at their chat room. And you've got a group of 5 people talking about sewing and basket weaving, talking about going on a picnic. Those aren't the people that we have, do we? We've got people that pay attention and ask great questions. That's why I say hands down, between our channels, Barton's channel, Texas channels, we have some very inquisitive and sharp people. So I thank everybody in the chat room and everyone that follows us on the podcast.
Absolutely.
You don't even have to be a chat room member. You guys are smart. You guys contribute. You throw out donations when you can, which we accept and we appreciate. You guys rock, man, KRISTA.
Yep,
Because if it weren't for
absolutely.
our audience, without our audience, we wouldn't have a show,
Nope, we have the best. We always say that, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's not cliche, everybody.
And a lot of these
podcasters
people
say
we
that.
know too now. We've made friends with them. So
I made friends
awesome.
with a lot of people. I've met people from conferences and I talked to people through the email. And you guys are one of the reasons I could keep coming back.
Me too.
I need my own answers, of course, but I enjoy talking about this. I don't think I'm ever going to stop doing this.
Right.
So thanks for reaching. That's cool. I mean, it's you never quite get over it. It's the biggest mystery in my life.
Yep. I'm sure it is.
Mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
So I guess I'm exhausted, and now after reading that, I got to start looking that up, William. So thanks. Hey, William, really look up my email and shoot me an email. One last time, thanks to James, the girl in her gong, and Cool Hand for the super chats and the memberships. That is awesome. And so, great show with Al. If you are coming in late, if you're new here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Mystery Rob, the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast.
Here, William just commented here.
He says, Chippewas say they can become invisible and using shimmering camouflage during hours of light. Yeah, well, again, I didn't come across that at all, but the last statement you made prior is definitely happened. Definitely happened. And also subscribe to Bart Nunnally in Humanoids on YouTube. You can see Bart Wednesday nights at 9 with the girls, which is tomorrow. And then Thursday, what do you guys got going Thursday?
Sir Brian Bowden.
Another great guy. I love Brian. Again, another guy with great information. Thank you, Maggie.
Oh,
Yeah, me and Chris are on the ball. Me and Chris are like tied like this, you guys. We're like brother and sister. We're just like
right.
we have the same mindset, you know.
Right.
But yeah.
Then Friday we have you and Paranormal Paul.
Oh yeah, that'd be a cool kickback show.
Yeah, just kind of questions and answers. Whatever everybody wants to talk about, we'll talk about. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, and for me, Thursday afternoon, I've got Carter Bouchard. He is a Bigfoot researcher for many, many years. A very good card player.
Carter's awesome. We have him, I think, coming on like the end of the month or something, I think.
Yeah. He's a good guy. He's been on a couple times. Yeah, he'll be on for the 1:00 show on Thursday. So we got a good lineup of shows, all of us.
William said the Kelani can do all those things. Native peoples believe they're evil.
Well, William, I'm right with you because I'm more and more thinking I had no Bigfoot encounter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I talked to a Barton in humanoid, but I also think evil. Hey, the first thing I thought in my mind was demon. And with that being said, we'll leave it at that because my brain is starting to overload right now. So thanks everybody for coming on in. Love you all.
Yes.
And Chris, I'll talk to you in a minute backstage there.
Yep.
And with that being said, fantastic show. Watch the replay for latecomers and subscribe. And I'm going to find the exit button here.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.